Oliver.
Stepping in
All
real
right,
quick.
how's it going, my
We got our
man?
man Oliver conquering the Store Treasure Cup and being the only Bonney player in this event. Listen closely because this man will explain all the details of his cards for those who need the help. But like always, I get it. You're a top player. All you want is the deck list, so skip to the end for it. Other than that, enjoy the video.
Boring stuff first. 2Ks.
Boring stuff?
Apu, I use the ST one over the one cost from EBO1. It's only for Nami. I've played the one cost once ever in a mirror match to rest a searcher out of I don't know how many games, so this does better into a bad matchup, so I'd rather play that.
And at the end of the day, still a great 2K counter situation.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
Should be 4. Oh wait, no, we got the other baby 5. It's just a searchable 2K. Every once in a while, if you get aggroed down by something like Reiju or Dofi, you might play this off of Kid to activate its effect to have a Dawn Up. If you play like Kid on 9, attach it onto Kid. Other than that, you almost never play it. Most of the 2Ks in this deck you never play. It's
Fair.
green.
It's
Our-
green,
our,
yeah.
Our,
You already
our
got
2Ks aren't playable. This one I have played once ever, and that's just because I had no bodies in hand.
No bodies in hand.
Sometimes against, I can't even really think of a situation where it'd be good. I'm trying.
No, you're totally fine.
On attack, you can rest 2 of your Dawn, so you have to leave 2 Dawn up, 3 Dawn if you want to use your leader effect, so it almost never comes up. That is the main reason. Searcher Bonney,
Search your Bonney. Ooh.
you have to run 4 of this.
Yeah,
if
it's
you're-
a staple for sure.
I don't think you can run a build of Bonney right now without Supernova. You can cut Dofi or Don Quixote Pirates out if you want, but you have to have 4 of these. It's just the best searcher.
Yeah.
It's shiny, it looks good. It grabs your kids, it grabs your Hawkins for Lucci. If you don't see it early, sometimes you just lose because you can't find the cards you need.
Yeah.
Next searcher, Baby 5, same thing but for the Don Quixote stuff. This one you don't want to prioritize searching as much with. Its main targets is 10-drop Dofi. It really is to grab counter half the time,
Yeah.
but if you don't have a Dofi, it grabs Dofi and it grabs Rosinante if you're playing against a removal deck or against a Nell and you want to play Rosinante off Kid.
Yeah.
Those are its main 2 targets. If you don't see one of those, you hope you see a 2K or 0 cost event.
Yeah, I remember on your last game, you were reaching for that Dofi.
Oh yeah, I searched 16 times that game or something like that. I don't know, some stupid number. I had 16 cards in hand. We got the bad blocker first.
The bad blocker.
Bardo. It's there. It's for RP Law. Every once in a while you get the effect for fun. It's really just because it's a 4-cost block or a 4K blocker with counter for the RP Law, so they have to use reduction. I don't know if I'll play any of this after RP Law gets banned if I play Bonney.
Okay.
Just because in every other matchup, Rosinante is just better in every
Yeah.
way. Because Rosinante can save multiple targets. It just stops removal until they get rid of it, and
Especially
it slows
against
down your opponent.
Especially against those NL players where they just want to start popping your 8 drops and you're like,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna keep
It
it
just
alive.
turns off Rygo completely.
Yeah.
But this is sometimes you like it. Like in this NL matchup, I played this before a searcher, so that after the searcher you get the draw 1 trash 1 just to see another card. Just because some of your good cards in the deck aren't searchable.
True.
For Rosinante, the second best blocker in the deck after Hawkins. It saves other things. Hawkins saves itself. So usually what you want to do, I try to never play this on the board for itself. I almost only ever play it behind a Kid.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's kind of a waste of a card.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's better as a 1K in your hand to save another body, or just holding it off for in case you draw into a Kid to save you late game. But yeah, I don't like playing it early game. I've seen a couple people play it like that. Other than that, it's just a 2-cost.
Fair.
Sometimes a chump blocker if you need to survive.
Yeah.
Uroge, the best turn 2 play in the deck.
Yes.
4-cost, 5K. Sometimes against Lucci, if they don't remove it, turn it sideways. It's going to get removed later on if you play a Hawkins because it'll be the only target for removal.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to swing with it. I think.
Yeah, I have seen that. A lot of people are too scared. They just leave it on attack.
Yeah.
Like, might as well get a use
Especially
out
against
of it.
Lucci and Law, because like against Law later on you're going to be playing 7Ks, 8Ks, 9s, 10s.
Yeah.
They're not going to remove those as easily. If this sticks on board for a turn against like Law or Lucci, just turn it sideways. It's just a 5K beater now, and if they swing into it, it did its job as a blocker too.
Yeah.
It's mainly there just to, if it sticks on the board, you don't have to leave it done up for your leader anymore, so you can play with your full Don.
Yes.
This is the main thing. What is next? I think it is Bonney. I only have one alt. We'll show the pretty one.
Show the pretty one.
This card, I don't find myself playing that much. The best times to play it is, or there's three main I guess,
matchups?
No, not even matchups, just time windows to play it.
Okay.
One is against a Nell on their first or second 10 Don turn. If you play this before that, freeze a Don. If they were going for an ace, they can't play the ace anymore. It's good if you turn something sideways the turn before that you don't want swung into, because they can still play Yamato, obviously, but they can't swing a 10K for free at like your Hawkins that you swung 7 with into their Gadatsu or whatever. So it's good for that. It's good into Lucci on their 8 or 9 Dom turn. Their first, you can't play it on their 10 because it doesn't matter after that point. It stops Gecko. It stops, I'm blanking on their one cost event, and Gecko on 9, so it usually saves what, like, if they don't have stage out. If they have stage out, it doesn't matter, don't play this, it's a 1K counter.
Yeah.
Sometimes it helps freezing a body. A lot of times it's better just playing a big body, or just swinging at stuff for that 5
True.
Don. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck.
Oh, Cavendish, the man, the myth, the legend.
3 cost 6K with counter.
With counter. That's why it's so good.
This is the single best mid-game card against anything other than Lucci.
Yes.
Anything else, if I can play this on 5, if I can play this on 6, I will always do it before playing out a Hawkins, because it will bait out removal against RP Law. It always hits a Gordon from their hand, and I'm fine with that because they're losing Don, they're losing a card from hand, usually 2 unless they're playing a Reiju out to draw. And then if it sticks, you're just playing with 2 extra Don every turn. You get, like, if you have a Searcher in hand, you can play Bonney or Baby 5 and search with them for free, swing this, and then now you're back to your Don total. If you're at 10 Don, you have 12. It's insane. Like, if this sticks and you have a kid out already, you can play Dofi, freeze 3 things, swing with this, have 2 Don up, 1 to attach to kid, 1 to leave up for leader ability. It just opens some crazy combos. The only other deck I think this is better in is RP Law, because they can bounce it and play it twice. I'm trying to somehow figure out a way to put Restand Law in the deck after ban list, just to be able to play with 4 extra Don in a turn.
Fair.
Because it's fun. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but we'll see. It all depends on how much Lucci gets played after ban list.
True.
Hawkins, the single best card against Lucci. If you draw none, good luck in the matchup. That's all I'm going to say. It's immune to removal once per turn, as long as your opponent has an active character, which the best part of that is if they play a character to remove it, it gets its effect. So it can't be bottom decked if there's an active character, it can't be KO'd, it can't be trashed, it can't be put in your life once per turn. It's really good. It's a 7K blocker. A lot of times you get free blocks because of leader effect, because you get a just negate one of their swings a turn. So a lot of times it just messes up their math, it messes up their game plan. Against Lucci, it's just a 7K beat stick that you hope you see 2 of.
Yeah.
and then you pray that they somehow don't run finger pistol, or just don't use it.
Don't ever draw into it.
Yeah, don't ever draw into it or trash them like Moria. I'm more scared of finger pistol than Moria in that matchup. I think, next we have Odie.
Ooh.
The best card against RP Law. And also, it's really good into a Nell, because it puts you off of 5 life if they're starving you. So you can't, if you can play this and then the next turn go like Cavendish Hawkins on 9 or 10, it's so good because they just can't Gadatsu you, they can't use their Yamatos to carry your bigger stuff anymore. It's a 7-8 rush draw card. Rest 2 things. I don't know if I need to say any more.
The man speaks for himself at that point. Yeah. He's too good.
It's like the go to the deck against so many matchups.
Yes.
Like Dofi, if you run into them. Nami, it's the single best card in the deck because Zoro is a lot of times too late and you need to draw into it. Same with this. I wish it was searchable. Sadly, the rest of the Fishman stuff sucks, so I can't run Kami. Against Nami, it rests to Dawn. Against Enel, it makes their stuff that they stay left standing. You can swing into it just because it has no cost restriction on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this card is extremely good. It's like the only Russian green. And it draws you a card.
It's already strong
And
enough.
then now we get to the top end. These are the ratios you can mess around with a bit.
Okay.
I think most of the rest of the deck, if you're running both searchers, is kind of set. Like you run 10 2Ks, you can switch around none of the 2Ks matter.
Yeah.
You can run more Supernova if you find yourself looking for 2Ks off Supernovas, search more often. You can do whatever, but the rest of the deck is kind of there.
Yeah.
I just run 4 of these. A lot of people run 3-3. Rosanate's better in my opinion because you run into more Lucci right now.
Yeah.
And then this is the entire reason green can run stall.
Usually people, when they see that being summoned, they're like, all right, I might as well scoop at this point.
Sometimes, yeah, it's just an uphill battle if it doesn't get removed that turn, or if you don't have enough cards in hand to keep it alive. But most of the time, it's just if you can play it in a comfortable spot with a blocker behind it, and you're Dawn up for leader, it's probably not dying anytime the rest of the game. The only matchup I would say don't play it in is Lucci, because they can just trash it with Brook still.
Fair.
So if they have that in, almost all Lucci's run Brook now, so it just kind of gets trashed. A lot of times Dofi's better in that matchup. It's really good against Arvila, it's really good against Dofi, Reiju. I'm trying to think of what other matchups. It's like the MVP card against Enel. You just go down to 0 with like 10 cards in hand with the Rosinante and they just can't kill it, and then you just swing at their life for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I run it at 3. I'll probably drop it more since RP Law is not going to be played. Well, it can't be played in here in the week or two. I do really like the card. I just love stall decks. I like playing green. I played GP Dofi in set 4-5, so
Yeah.
it was fun. Then Dofi.
Three
It just stops your opponent half the time.
Yeah.
If they don't have 4 or more bodies and all of them are rested, you just skip their turn. They can remove stuff, they can play stuff, but they're not doing anything you care about because Bonney really only cares about how many swings you have and how big they are. That's your main thing the entire game. Your board, it gets cleared against most matchups. You're just kind of there until they run out of removal.
Yeah.
And this card helps with that a lot. Lucci a lot of times runs out of reduction or removal. They have to balance it out by the time you play a 10-drop because they're usually removing like a Cavendish and a Roge, probably a Kid or a Hody halfway, like up until this point. And then sometimes the 10-drop sticks. If the first one sticks, you're kind of sitting pretty because then you just play Hawkins or just start beating them down.
Yeah.
Lucci's the weirdest matchup in this deck. You're just a beatdown deck. Anything that sticks, you swing with, and anytime they swing at your characters, you counter.
Yeah.
That's the rule. I only run 1 Zoro. I hate this card. 95% of the time, you're paying 9 Dawn to skip your turn.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like it. It's probably going to get played more. I'm probably going to play it more after banlist because Lucci loses stage, so they lose a lot of their consistency. But at the same time, if it gets removed, you just wasted your whole turn. There's no upside to it. I've played this card more times to bait out Raigo than I have to actually try to win a game with it. If I ever have this in hand, if I ever have Zoro in hand and a Kid without a Resonante, I will play the Zoro first purely to get their Raigo out of hand so that I can play Kid next turn.
Yeah, it's a very smart move. I mean, you get rid of cards that you're expecting, might as well earlier than later, you know?
Because they will always, any player that you play against that can remove a Zoro will remove a Zoro.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many cards they have to use or anything else. if they can remove it, they will remove it, even if it's like the worst play in their hand.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't like the deck or the card in this deck, because the deck really is like, if you miss a turn of stalling or putting aggression on, you kind of just go downhill from there, because you're either wasting a bunch of cards from hand to save your life or save your cards on board, and it kind of just I don't like playing.
Yeah.
I don't like playing a card that. It's weird to say in green that has no effect the turn it's played,
Fair, yeah.
which most of
Majority
green
of these.
doesn't have. So I don't know why I'm playing this deck. But when it does stick, it's insane.
Yeah.
A lot of times you can just kill your opponent in one turn after that. That's why it's always target number 1 on the board
Yeah.
if they can get rid of it. The reason I would go up on it after ban lists is because Bonney is probably going to get played more, and it's really good in the mirror, and it's unsearchable. So at 1 copy, it's kind of hard. Like, the 2 unsearchable cards in the entire deck are the best cards in the mirror. I can't go more than 4 on Hody, or else I would, and I wouldn't play more Zoro, but I'll probably have to go up to 2 or 3 Zoro after ban lists.
Fair.
The last card is just 0 cost event. Nothing fancy. A lot of times it saves you. I almost never use the trigger, even if there's a target for it. It's just to get rid of bricks, because although you don't run as many bricks as like something like Lucci or Enel, actually I don't even know how many bricks Enel runs, but I know Lucci decks run more bricks than this right now. We aren't a removal deck, so we have to actually either swing at their bodies or just take their hits. So a lot of times you need a 0 cost to just pitch something extra from your hand.
Fair.
It saved me more times than I would care to admit out of games by 1k counter, because it just turns a 1k into 3.
And yeah, I had a bunch of other questions, but you, as we were going, you were answering left to right.
just yapping.
Yeah, you were putting in the details for every reason behind every card, and it's great because sometimes people just wonder.
Yeah.
But other than that, any shout outs or anything like that for anyone out there?
Definitely a shout out to Noel. Free my boy Noel. Unban him. He doesn't deserve it. He makes too many good deck lists that help too many people out. I'm pretty sure like 90% of Bonney lists are like pretty much his card for card that he posted a while ago.
Fair.
I need to figure out what I'm cooking up for the deck after ban lists. Shout out to Cross's Discord, same as Paul. That's where I do most of my testing and just messing around. They're great people in there. A lot of good players too. Other than that, I don't know. I think that's about it.
Perfect. All right. And are we expected to see you at any other Treasure Cups here in Utah?
I should be at least 1 or 2 more. We'll see.
Okay. Awesome.
Depends
Well,
on
hope
the
to
schedule.
hope to see you there. And then if you win them, we'll probably see you again. All right. Thank you again. Take care.
Yeah, thank